Well, on Truth Social, Trump posted a message saying that the law clerk falsely claimed that she was in a relationship with the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Queen City News chief legal analyst Kelly Rhodes joining us here to talk about this. Now, she received multiple threats and harassing voicemail messages with this. So could those then send the threats could they have any criminal charges behind these charges?
For sure. I mean, anytime you're talking about the FBI being involved with a person receiving threats, there will be some type of criminal conduct and charges facing and behind that. You're talking about 30 to 50 plus calls a day that she's alleged to have been receiving. And so that would meet the level of harassment. Typically, if this was North Carolina, you'd have to say, I have those type of calls. And it's prompted me to have to do something else, either seek some type of treatment, get a new phone number. The courts have not been specific on what the additional increase would be, but this would fall in the lines. If a client came to me saying I'm being harassed, I would say 30 to 50 calls would fall in line, and that would for sure be harassment.
Last month, Trump got a partial gag order from Trump, the Judge Engoron here. That was rescinded now. Could there some kind of partial gag order here be put back in place?
That's what a lot of folks are attempting to say, and the attorneys from the office of the judge have already sent a request to get the gag order expedited in terms of them to go through the hearing process. If we can remember, Judge Engoron put the gag order in place, then fined former President Trump a number of times, twice, for comments that he made. Then the Court of Appeals in New York removed the gag order, partially saying they didn't believe that there was standing for him to actually issue a gag order. I think the standard for issuing a gag order, and that's the argument, is it a First Amendment issue or a gag order issue? The standard is, can I proceed with my proceedings without being interrupted? It would seem like this is causing some type of interruption in the proceedings if the judge and the clerk are having issues. So for sure, I would say making sure that they are able to conduct the hearing. Because remember, we have to have this civil hearing still outside of all of these threats. If they're not able to conduct the hearing, that is an interruption to the process, which you would think would fall into needing a gag order to maintain the even flow of a process.
It also seems like former President Donald Trump is flirting with this. I mean, wouldn't you say? Because it's almost like for you to be, told don't do this, and you kind of go so closely with that.
Pushing the envelope.
Thoughts, he really is.
He's definitely in that line of pushing the envelope, and it goes back to the January 6th comments when he was telling folks to come to D.C. It'll be a lot of fireworks and things would be there, kind of throwing your rock and then hiding your hand, like, no, I didn't incite those folks to go there and do the things they did. This is very similar. Now, while I don't believe that he wants anyone to do anything criminal to these individuals, he is encouraging the comments. He is encouraging the rhetoric. He is encouraging that dialogue, which is getting to the borderline to harassment, passing borderline harassment.
And that's one of the things you have to keep in perspective, just as you said. I mean, much like we saw with the January 6th, in terms of what happened there, the mindset of what's in people when they hear the message.
He's the most powerful person on the planet.
When you put this message out there, it's like it might not be intentional, but you don't know the mindset of who's receiving this message.
If it's not intentional, it at least is empowering.
All right. Chief Legal Analyst Kelly Rhodes, thank you.